Today I'm going to be talking about my expectations versus my realities of my entire pregnancy journey. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then just keep watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then hello and welcome. So today we are going to be talking about my pregnancy, and I know I am now kind of postpartum for months and a bit, and this is an idea that I've had in my head for quite a while that I wanted to talk about, because in case you guys haven't seen any of my previous videos, I've been on like a pregnancy journey for about 4 years, and I've been talking about my experience and what I've been through and how my pregnancy was and how my birth was and everything like that. So if you want to check out those videos, please do, because there's only about 3 of them, but they're still quite, they're from the heart and they mean a lot to me. So obviously if you want to check that out, no worries. But today I'm talking about 10 different things that I expected during my pregnancy, but what actually happened. Let's start off with number 1, which was essentially my pregnancy journey. So for me, I initially thought that, I would get pregnant really quickly. I always thought, couples who do the deed will, get pregnant straight away, because growing up in my household, obviously you never spoke about anything like that in school. They would teach you, if you have sex, you'll get pregnant and blah blah blah, and essentially that is what's always been in my mindset. I know a lot of people around me, a lot of people online who struggle with infertility, and I never thought I would be kind of part of that group. And I'm not trying to sound offensive, but I'm trying to sound like more realistic, in the sense of, you think that you're in, like, you're very different from everyone, and again, everyone has their own journey, and the fact that it's so easy to kind of just get pregnant, whereas for me the reality was waiting over 4 years. And I have again mentioned that and spoken about that in a previous video, where I kind of told you guys that I was pregnant and expecting and everything that I'd been through, and you know what, 4 years is a very long time to kind of wait for something that you have wanted for most of your life. But you kind of have to become accustomed to kind of just waiting and seeing. Like, I've had a few people ask me about my experience and giving them advice, but it's a bit difficult to kind of give advice when everyone's body is so different. But my reality was waiting those 4 years, and I will get to it, but waiting was worth every second. So my number 2 is now kind of part of my actual pregnancy. So one thing that I kind of haven't mentioned is that obviously I didn't realize I was pregnant until I took a pregnancy test, because I at the time was going through fertility clinic, and they had said, it might not happen anytime soon. So not to say that they were like, don't get your hopes up, but it was more like, don't expect it to happen anytime soon. And so when I found out I was pregnant, that was like the biggest surprise ever. I kind of wish I had filmed it for like just future kind of thoughts, but I remember it very vividly. But if you guys want to watch out any previous videos, then go for that. But one of my expectations was that I would have a lot of morning sickness, but my reality was I had no morning sickness. I was sick twice, and 3 times, which is probably not counting it towards the end of my pregnancy, but the only 2 times I was sick during my pregnancy was when I started to take different multivitamins. So these tablets were huge. They were like this big. I got them from Boots because I thought, you know what, taking multivitamins during pregnancy is very important. I take folic acid anyway during, like, even prior to my pregnancy, because taking it is very important for your body. And so when I was taking these multivitamins, they were huge. And when I tell you that it kind of triggered mornings, like a sickness for me, that was when I was like, okay, I do not need to take these because they're just too much. So I ended up buying much smaller tablets, which were like this big compared to like these massive ones. So I had no morning sickness, and I have obviously seen and heard of lots of people having constant morning sickness, having different types of morning sickness. Obviously I had a lot of nausea, so much nausea. Like, I had nausea like really well into my pregnancy, but in the kind of early stages I didn't have any, so that was quite a surprise, because I mean I'm not sick that often if that makes any sense, mainly with hangovers. That's kind of about it, but I had no morning sickness, so that was pretty interesting. So with number 3, during every pregnancy you have to take a diabetes test. So this is the gas station diabetes, I believe it's called. My expectations was that I would have it because I'm overweight, my BMI is crazy, I'm listed as obese somehow even though I don't think I am obese anyway. I actually thought I had it, but my results came through and it was negative. And I know that sounds like a weird like expectation reality to have, but for someone like me who eats a lot of rubbish, I have a lot of sugar, I have a very rubbish diet, but during my pregnancy I was trying my best to eat healthy because I knew it wasn't just about me, I had someone else that I had to look after. So my diet had completely changed, my appetite was like less than none. I had lost so much weight, I lost 3 stone during my pregnancy. So if you see any of my baby is in the corner, if you see any of my videos prior to my pregnancy, I was quite heavy faced, like if that makes any sense. But now I feel like I've kind of slimmed down quite a lot. I lost 3 stone, it's insane. But I generally thought I would have the diabetes, and I've seen so many people on TikTok talking about their diabetes, and I actually was expecting to get it. I was kind of just like, okay, I know what they're going to say, I have to take all these tablets, I have to do this, I have to do that. I was very lucky, and I know I'm going to be saying this quite a lot in my video, but I count myself very lucky that I didn't have that. I did get preeclampsia towards the end of my pregnancy, and at the end when I gave birth I did have to go on blood pressure tablets, but during that time that was the only kind of thing that I had that wasn't right. And then with my number 4, this is cravings. So I expected to have some insane cravings. I don't know why. I'm very open when it comes to food. I love food. Like most people these days, like food is a big part of my life, and I genuinely thought I was gonna have some weird cravings, but my reality was I had no cravings. The only thing that I really wanted, which I guess is a kind of a craving but it's not like a massive one, was ice cold Fanta. Like I love like orange Fanta, and I love like the red one as well. I can't remember what it's called, but if you know, you know, like that Fanta is amazing. And also sour sweets like Haribo's, the sour ones, and I ate them like normal anyway, but during my pregnancy I was like, my husband was buying me a packet like every other day. Not every day because that was a bit excessive, but every other day he was like, do you want me to get you a pack of the Haribo's? I was like, absolutely, and I'd buy myself a packet as well. But it's, yeah, I was expecting to, because I've heard so many like stories of people licking bricks or licking this and eating that, and I'm like, I really hope I don't get any of that, and I didn't. So I had no cravings, which is quite interesting. So now saying that, this next part is going to be part of my kind of birth, and that's the next couple of ones. So number 5 is following my birth plan. So essentially when you're pregnant, like towards like mid-pregnancy, towards the end of your pregnancy, you're expected to do a birth plan with your midwife. I didn't have any of those conversations. She was just like, yeah, come up with a birth plan and see what happens. I had a rough birth plan in my head, like I downloaded the template and I thought to myself, okay, should I write it down? But then I was telling my husband anyway, so he kind of roughly knew what I wanted. But expectations, that's what I thought I was going to be following my birth plan. So I wanted to have, I've mentioned this again in previous videos, that I wanted to have a kind of vaginal birth where I wanted to, you know, not have a cesarean or anything like that. My reality was that I didn't get any of that. So my expectations that I was going to have my husband and my sister was going to be there as well, and I would be in labour for X amount of hours, but then I ended up having a cesarean. So that's when it goes to my number 6. So 5 and 6 is essentially my birthing plan and how long I thought I would be in labour for, because I never kind of put myself in any time limit. I just kind of thought to myself, okay, this is my plan, and I wanted to essentially just kind of have gas and air. Epidural was not on the top of my list, but I always said to myself, if I need it, I will go for it, because I'm not opposed to it. I'm just kind of wanting to be safe, and I'd read so many stories about epidurals going wrong, but touch wood, mine did not go wrong. Very luckily, the people that were there were amazing. But yeah, I was expecting to be in labour for like hours and hours and hours, because there are people who can be in labour for days and hours and this and that, and I was kind of like, I really don't hope it, I hope I'm not in labour for that long. But when I was induced, I was only 2 centimetres for hours and hours and hours, and that's when they realised that I needed to have a cesarean. So yeah, with my cesarean, it was like boom boom boom, baby was born in like less than 30 minutes. So that was my kind of birth aspect of it, and then now this is my kind of postpartum recovery aspect of it. So my number 7 was recovering from my C-section would take a long time. So that was my expectation. The expectation was I would be bedbound for ages, I wouldn't be able to do anything, I wouldn't be able to walk around, blah blah blah. But the reality was that I was walking the same morning that I had my cesarean. So when I was taken to the first recovery room, literally a couple of hours later, the lady was, the midwife was like, would you like to get up and walk around? And I thought to myself, I can do that, like, will my stitches be okay? I generally thought it would be so difficult, because it was very difficult to obviously get out of bed. Even when I was in the ward, my husband had to literally like pick me up to kind of take me off the bed. But the morning that I had the baby, I was like, okay, I had the socks on that would obviously not give me blood clots and kind of get my blood flowing, and I also had a catheter in as well, I believe that's what they're called. So I thought to myself, there's no way that I'm going to be able to walk, but I did. I stood up, took a couple of steps, and then she's like, do you want to try some more steps? And I thought, okay, fuck it, why not, like, why not? And then I walked to one part of the room and I walked back, and I thought, my god, my body is going through so much right now, but I can still walk. Yay. So yeah, and I mean, the reality of it as well is that I recovered very quickly, touch wood. So like I mentioned, I was walking in the same morning. I think they do encourage that for a lot of people who have cesareans, obviously under different circumstances. The whole kind of normal reality anyway is that you won't be able to pick up anything heavy for 6 weeks, or even longer than that, to be honest, depending on how you're feeling. But I recovered so quickly. I was literally, when we got home after 2 weeks, we went out for like a couple of walks, and then when my husband went back to work and I was trying to go out with the buggy, I would pick it up. And I know a lot of my family did have a go at me for doing that, but I literally had no choice, because where I live there's no lifts, and it's very frustrating, because if I needed to go somewhere, sometimes people will offer me like help, but I'm the kind of gal when I'm like, nope, I can do it, I'm very independent. I know that's very silly, especially when it comes to like a buggy. The buggy's not massive, or it's not crazy heavy, but especially after like major surgery, I'd never realized how crazy and how kind of scary the surgery actually is, and I'm still recovering from it. Obviously the lower part of my stomach is still numb, like I can't feel anything, and I know that's going to happen for quite a while. So yeah, my reality is not being so hard on myself as well, because I know going through like 7 layers of skin, I didn't even know my body had that. So then my number 8 is a very personal one that I thought I would talk about, just because bless you, because I actually genuinely thought my expectation was that I would be constantly breastfeeding, and I know that this is obviously quite a touchy subject, and I'm just being honest, because in the beginning I was breastfeeding, and then it got to a certain point where in the hospital baby isn't latching on properly, so I thought, okay, I'm still gonna pump and I'll give him the natural milk, because I've always wanted to do that anyway. So then pumping is still exactly pretty much the same thing. I know they're not latching on, but we did do a lot of skin to skin, because baby had to go to special baby unit, and they were very encouraging on skin to skin, which I love doing, because it built such a big connection. Of course breastfeeding does that as well. I know a lot of people don't want to breastfeed or can't breastfeed. That's such a personal thing. With me, I really wanted to do it for such a long time, but my reality was that it didn't. So I was essentially breastfeeding for like a week, and then I was pumping for like a couple of more weeks, but then after that I stopped producing milk. It was so weird. I don't know what happened. I kind of stopped feeding for like a while because I was a bit unwell. So I thought to myself, let me just give him powder, and then I stopped producing milk. So in reality, I didn't breastfeed as much as I wanted to, but I know that's okay because I know that in the beginning he was getting everything that he needed from me anyway, and I know that powder milk isn't obviously as good, but it's still perfect. Like every baby that's had powder milk is still perfectly fine, and mine is absolutely perfectly fine. So again, that was something else that I needed to not be so hard on myself, which was breastfeeding. And you know, as much as I wanted to, I just know that I couldn't, and that was my reality. So number 9 and number 10 are now kind of part of my postpartum. So this is kind of like not a number 9, but kind of in between. I didn't realize how bad my postpartum kind of baby blues would be, and this is just being me kind of open, because not a lot of people talk about baby blues, and I really feel like it's such an important topic. If you hear a dummy smacking its baby on my lap because he just woke up from his nap, but yeah, no one talks about baby blues as much as you would hope. And I never really knew about it until I googled it, and I thought, why am I so sad? Why am I crying constantly? And I didn't actually think it was like a real thing. I just, hormones would be everywhere. But me, when every day we were in the hospital, I was constantly crying, and even when we got home, my body was just going crazy. I thought I was getting postpartum depression, but touch wood, I'm so lucky I don't think I got it, because I've seen some stories and horror stories about postpartum depression, and I know that's not me. So I was very lucky to not get that. But my number 9 essentially is going out. I thought I would be going out more. You see TikTok mummies who are going out for their coffee lunches and meeting up with their friends and blah blah blah. I don't have any of that. I mean, I've met up with a couple of people for sure, and a couple of people have come around to visit me, which I absolutely love. But reality was like, I'm going to go out every day, we're going to go and do these cool things, blah blah blah. Babies being born in like winter time is not the best time, and I'm a winter baby as well, so I know that going out is cold and it's currently very expensive out there, and my maternity pay is not great, so I'm not getting the same money that I used to. And to be honest, I kind of don't feel like going out that much. Even today, I thought to myself, yeah, let's go shopping and blah blah blah. I can't bring myself to go out shopping. Like, it's such a big thing to kind of get ready to go out. So even if I'm going out for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, coming back, you're taking like 10-15 minutes just to get ready, then going out, then blah blah blah. And because I live in a flat, I have to go through like 3 or 4 doors. I have to go through this door and that door, and then this entrance and that, and I'm kind of like, it just sounds more hassle. But I know it's a lot. It's good for the baby to go out to get fresh air, blah blah blah. But we do go out quite a bit anyway. Like, I go and visit my family, or we go shopping, and I go to my work just to see people, and just kind of, he can see everyone as well, which is really lovely. So my reality is that I'm absolutely not going anywhere. I go out a couple of times. Like, this is gonna go on par with my number 10, which is like missing my old life, because I mean, essentially, I haven't been to any gigs so far this year. I know we're only in January, but I miss going to gigs, and I miss going out and stuff. But I still socialise. Like, my husband is very amazing in the sense of, anytime you want to go out, just let me know. If I'm off from work, then it's going to be a boys' night. And if there's times when he wants to go out, why not? Like, he works full time, he works his ass off. He is an amazing dad, and anytime, even something as simple as me going to the cinema for a couple of hours really helped me, because I felt like, as much as I was constantly thinking about him, I know that he's in the best hands, so I didn't need to worry about anything. And so my reality of like missing my old life, yes, sometimes I do, but I can still do the things that I want to do. Like, there's a gig coming up in April that I booked a ticket for. Obviously, he's going to be with his dad, and I know that there's so much I can still do. Just because I'm a mum doesn't mean that I've lost who I am, or doesn't mean I've lost any part of who I am. It's just different circumstances. Like, I can't do certain things. Like, I can't just kind of get up and go here and go there. I need to think about, is it safe for him? Is it accessible for him and the buggy? And time wise, like going out, it's getting dark obviously at like 3-4 o'clock these days, and I'd rather just be at home. And yeah, my reality is that I just love being at home, if that makes any sense, because it's our comfort and it's my comfort. And you know, we have everything that we need here, and if I ever need to go out and see someone, then I'll just do it. So that was essentially my 10 expectations versus realities, and I kind of poked in a couple of things here and there, but I just really wanted to talk about, you know, what I went through during my pregnancy. It's obviously not everything I went through, it's kind of a mixture, but again, everyone's pregnancy is very different, and if you are still trying, please never give up hope. Like I never gave up hope, even though you know, there's times when you feel so helpless and you feel useless, but trust me, you are doing amazing. And please don't ever let anyone tell you any different. You are valid, you are amazing. Like, your body is such a wonder. Our bodies, like, not everyone is going to know everything about our bodies. You don't know your body completely, and that's okay. And honestly, I just learn to just, you just have to get on with things. Like, I was slowly giving up hope, and then it happened. So the minute that you kind of stop thinking about something is when it happens. And I know that's easy to say that because it happened to me, but if it doesn't happen to you, I keep everything crossed, and I pray, and I keep, you know, just positive vibes, because that's what we need. We need positive vibes. But if you have any questions for me, please let me know, because I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this video. And baby's just staring at me with the most beautiful smile. And yeah, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because I film and upload every time I get a chance to. Don't forget to follow me on any of my social medias, because I'm always active on there, and appreciate you sitting down listening to me ramble on. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye bye.